What is up, everybody? We are back on, I think, our third week running now with Wedding
Yeah.
Film School Live. Uh, and we've got Jay here as well. And I don't know if you can hear him, but you can see him for a second. At least I couldn't hear him. So Jay is working on the background on a few things. I think that's still a no. Everybody in chat, if you are in chat, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and if you can hear or see Jay. We've got a great show for you today. We had a ton of submissions, which we love to see. Thanks to you guys for supporting the stream and for being in chat and giving us some awesome work to look at. So a few things to go over before we kind of dive into some film reviews, just so you guys are aware, because I know, like I said, this is our third week back, and we have people trickling in that were maybe part of streams when we were doing them consistently, 6 months ago or something like that, and then we had to stop. As a reminder for the new studio build out, it's done. That's why we're back, but it's not totally done. So a couple things still in the works and coming, which is exciting. Okay, Jason, if you can hear me, I am being told that you are very, very, very quiet.
Okay.
And I actually couldn't hear you. So anyway, so just a reminder of how this is going to work. We've changed a few things for the better, we think, although we're always open to your guys' opinion and we want to hear what you guys want from us and what works best for you. But this is how we're doing it, at least for right now. We are reviewing your guys' films. As always, we are watching through the film in their entirety. You might hear some light commentary from myself or Jay or Jared if he's in the stream, which he is not this week. So we'll be watching it through, but we'll only be watching up to 5 minutes. Or about 5 minutes. And we might skip around a little bit here, there, something like that. But basically, we want everybody to be able to submit a film to us. And if you don't make films, previously we asked for them to be shorter. So if you don't make films that are 5 minutes or under, we still want you to be able to submit. What we will do, like I said, is just watch about 5 minutes of that film. And we feel like with 5 minutes of a film, even if it's a 10-minute film, let's say, we can still give some great feedback on that 5 minutes. And I understand we're not seeing the whole story, so obviously we'll keep that in mind, but we can still give you some technical things to maybe work on, or things that we loved about your work or your film. And there's Jared in the chat. Whoop, whoop. So that's the way we're going to do it. So we encourage you to submit your films, whether they're 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or even longer films. And then as far as the reviews themselves go, the way that's going to work is, whoever's in chat or whoever's in stream that day, at least as far as the camera goes. Oh, there's the ATEM. So as far as, whoever, like today is myself and Jay, last week it was just me. So whoever's here, we're going to share things that we loved and then things that we thought you could work on. And we'll each kind of say a couple things. And the things that we think you could work on are probably going to be, focused on, like, what is for you specifically, because we have a wide array of talent that submits here. It's going to be, what is like that next step? What's like, if you took this film and what is the most impactful difference you can make, thing you could change to make the biggest difference in your next film? We understand that somebody who's newer might have 20 things that they can work on. Somebody who's been in the game for a long time might have really one or two things that we think could really, like, that's where you should focus and try to do this a little bit better next time. If you're newer, it's like, hey, I know there's a lot going on, a lot of things that you need to work on and changing up practice with, but focus on these two things because they're going to have the biggest impact for your next film. Let's see. I think Jay is still working. So if you are in chat right now, I hear him.
I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Except I don't see Jay. Jay's a black screen for me.
I'm a black screen.
And for you guys as well.
That's what I do.
But yeah, we have some awesome films for you guys today. And it's possible that if you're in chat, we might
It's possible.
give you a little tip on a way to get your film reviewed today in this stream, even if you weren't chosen for one of the 3 films.
Yes, that's our goal. Is to do a little bit of extra live.
Jay's here. Woo!
A little extra. So, you want to get into this, Bobby?
Let's do it.
Here we go. So the first film we have today is from a member, and if you are not a member, you should become one, because
I agree.
it's a great way to support the channel and a great way for you guys to have your films reviewed. People who are doing that, members, you guys get preferential treatment. We're going to put you at the top of the line for you having your films reviewed. So click on that membership button in YouTube and we'll be sure to get to your films. This film is from Grant Fitzgerald from Fitzgerald Films. He's got a Canon 80D, a Canon 80D, a Canon SL2.
Canon 80D.
Yeah.
That's
Canon
the French version.
80 and then we also have, and guys, I will get my audio up a little. I apologize. It's just my gain over there. I got to turn it on the camera. But we got Sigma 18-235, Canon 50mm, all that good stuff. He says 1 videographer, 8 hours with a 4-minute highlight film. And we always ask about how much you charge, not because we think people who charge more money are better, but because we like to know the value that the customer is getting. In this case, I think we're getting pretty good value, Bobby. It's $13.50 for this film.
It's I haven't even seen the film, and I can just tell you, being in the exact same area as Grant, it's too good a value. Although this was booked in fall 2020, so the booking was old. The package is now $31.95, he says. So I think that's important, because yeah, we like seeing those prices go up. I especially like seeing prices in my specific area go up. But I totally hear you on, like, you booked it 2 years ago. Like, I'm having actually my wedding next week is a wedding that was booked like 3 years ago, and a bunch of reschedules and stuff. And like, I'm feeling it too, where I'm like, man, that was like old pricing and old collections as far as like what I offered, and I've changed some things.
I shot a wedding film basically for free last weekend. So
wow.
Yeah. Basically.
I shot a wedding film for free. Ask me anything. After 15 years in the industry, ask me anything.
Yeah, ask me anything. I shot a wedding film for free.
I like it.
Okay, so he says it's a fun wedding day. It's a couple of friends of my wife, as we know through professional theater community in Minneapolis. Loved their wedding party. Was only one person. I like that too. I really allowed for a lot of freedom with the speeches we're given on this day, and extra plus since most of them are actors and know how to deliver a line. That's great. I haven't tested the audio here, Bobby, but I think it's going to be really great. So
awesome. I love that. And just because this is the quickest way to chat with you, if you can make sure you send me that video on Zoom so I can watch it too, I would appreciate it. Or you'll be doing this review solo.
Oh, yes, you are right. I blew it.
Or if it's not, then just watch it on your end, and you can review it, and we can tidy up for the next one.
Yes, we'll get it.
What's up, Happy Haven Studios? Happy to have you here.
Let me just get the audio going correctly. We had to switch, guys, last second because I made a really stupid mistake and captured all the wrong films. So
yeah, we captured the films from last week, but we thought on our toes real quick, and Jay is a wizard, and in a matter of like 2 minutes we got up with the completely different setup. Yeah. And oh guys, if you can't hear Jay very well, I can, and he is about to turn his volume up. He just has to do it on camera, so he wants to get this kind of going. And then he's going to run over to his camera and turn the gain up. So that's the issue.
One of my best friends.
What's up, Max?
All right, here we go.
Oh, we got that audio. All right. First one from Grant. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Carl, I knew you were special from the moment we met. And I think you did too, since you asked me out to see me the very next day. I loved when at the end of our dates you would always ask, when do I get to see you again? To answer you one last time, I promise to stand by you for the rest of our lives and see you every day.
I'm not celebrating just one of my best friends. I'm celebrating two of them, and I have to say it fast because I'm going to lose it. There is a very special kind of love that exists between Jessica and Carl because they have undying support for each other.
Welcome all. We are gathered today to witness and celebrate the marriage of Carl and Jessica. This is not the beginning of a new relationship, but an acknowledgement of the next chapter in their lives together. A continuation of the adventure rather than the end of the campaign.
Just wait, there's more, just wait.
Today, Jessica and Carl mark this day not only by celebrating the love between themselves, but by also celebrating the love among us.
Jessica and I met at the University of Montana. We would go on to become best friends and eventually move to the Twin Cities together, where she would meet Carl and I would get out of the way.
Hi.
We've been through more in 4 years than some couples have been in 10. Through highs and lows, we have shown our love and devotion to each other through our acts and our promises to each other. And I cannot wait to continue from this day forward to show our love and devotion every single day.
I vow to always be here to support you and help you follow your dreams, even if that means being on a play that opens 2 days before our wedding. Because I see how talented you are and want the rest of the world to see it too.
I, Carl, take you, Jessica, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward.
For better or worse, for richer or poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish always.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Minnesota, I now pronounce you married.
Friends, family, it is my esteemed honor to present to you Carl and Jessica Swanson.
They give each other strength, and they give strength to others whenever they need it. And if there's anything I know we should all thank Jessica for, it's her impeccable capability to make everyone in both of their life feel as much love as they give to each other.
May their marriage be chock full with all the unmemorable moments that make best friendship worth sparkling about.
In addition to these vows I make on our wedding day, I want to make one more. To keep making new vows as we go on this ever-changing journey together for the rest of our lives. Because you're my forever scene partner, my lifelong stage manager, and my love interest that lasts a long time after the curtain goes down.
I like that line.
Yeah, it's a good ending line, and very specific to them, which I like as well. We're back. Cool. So let's dive into what we liked, what we think he could work on. Is Grant in chat with us? I think he said he was going to be here, so hopefully. So, and then let's see, Zay boy, how do I get my video in here? You can do it on our website, which is weddingfilm.school. I'll actually post it for you guys in the chat here, and you can submit it there. Give me 1 second. And Jay, do you want to start, or do you want me to start on this one?
I can start. Can
right.
you guys hear me?
What's Jay's levels like? Are they better now?
It should be a little.
Let us know in chat.
Anyway, so I there's a lot that I like here. In particular, I like the emotion, and there's a lot of just a lot of connection I feel with with the couple in the film. I think the fact that you knew them helped you communicate better. And I feel like that is a thing when, as a wedding filmmaker, like, you know, we all have weddings where we just show up, right, Bobby? But there's a whole ton of weddings where we really have an opportunity to get to know the person. And I think in a film like this, you can see that relationship and the knowledge of the couple comes through in the way you picked the right lines, the way you showed them. And I also think, you know, you portrayed the couple in a way that they would want to be seen. You know, I think that's ultimately your goal as a wedding filmmaker, is showing couples that little freezing in time. So that was good. And then, of course, there's a lot of pretty solid shots throughout.
Yeah. So things that I loved in this, kind of echoing Jay, I think you got a really good like audio story. And I think that's kind of what he was saying, like, you know, coming from that connection with the couple plays a big role in that. And obviously you said that you knew them, which is great. And, you know, if that's possible, that's always wonderful. But that can also be done somewhat through just kind of getting to know, you know, if you don't know them previously. Right. And so in either scenario, that can lead to just kind of knowing them as a couple better and being able to create that, like that story from the audio. And of course you can do it even if you don't know them, but you can tell, like, yeah, you just had a really good audio layout there. And then I was not totally, I was kind of like watching through the stream, which on the tiny little screen for me, which is a little bit harder for the first minute or two. So there might be things that I missed as far as kind of like the actual editing, but the framing I really liked on a lot of your detail shots. So the framing and the lighting, I guess is what I would say. You had like the shoes, the dress, you had kind of just something that like mixed it up sometimes. And I like that. Some silhouettes, stuff like that. Some really like high contrast stuff.
I like that. I was into the silhouettes, and
yeah, it's cool. It's like a fun way to mix it up.
Well, we can improve, because I think the silhouettes are kind of they're a good, and I think of one of the signs that where we could improve. Yeah. So like right here we have a bunch of these. Where is it? These silhouettes, which are really cool, like these, and that's like super high key window light, and then we're getting into this right here. And this is just totally blown out, and it's losing all the dress detail. I like to call these things right here the chicken breasts, because they just remind me of like raw chicken breasts you get at the grocery store, and then like there's just a fair amount of overexposure throughout the film and just lack of exposure mastery, and so I would just say, like right there, Bobby, it's blown out on his head. Like here, it's blown out on the wall.
That one is rough.
There's a lot.
I think some of that is.
This is really blown out.
It can be camera, right? It can be like settings, but some of that too is like picking. Like, okay, this first dance, did you have a light on them because you're shooting into the windows? But you actually shot both. I mean, this is a separate. I'll bring this up later. But yeah, like, so it can be your camera settings, but it can also be, where did you set up? Like, why did you do the Father of the Bride first look in front of a big garage door with the light blasting through it? Like, was that a conscious decision? Was that, you know, your photographer choosing to do that? And maybe it was out of your hands, but just knowing, and obviously we don't know that, but it's important to know, yeah, like could it be your camera settings, or could it be some other things that you could change, right? And some things maybe you can't. Like the ceremony is where it is, right? And I know that venue, and you can't go on either side. It's only straight down the middle is your main shot, and so, you know, kind of is what it is. But yeah.
I probably would have made a decision here to lift my shadows in post a little, and not have it that blown out. You know, I think like knowing when to split the difference between an exposure, I think is really important. And so I looked at it and I said, hey, there's a lot to like, but I think, and this is an easy improvement, which is just really, really making sure.
Which is great. That's like kind of what you want.
Nail your exposures and really focus on, like, if it's blown out, that's a non-starter for me.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the things, sorry, were you still talking?
No, I just said that's me. That's what I'm.
I think I noticed one thing too. I know this was a 2021 film for you, but we've reviewed your work before, and obviously I'm just familiar with you just being in the same area, but I think you've really tightened up a lot of, I mean, yeah, there's some exposure things, whatever, but tighten up a lot of your like stabilization and stuff like that, I seem to recall. The thing, which is good. The things that I didn't like that I think you could change is some decision making stuff. So like, for example, actually the first dance, I don't know if this is first dance, but somewhere in the film, you're going back and forth and you have these shots of what I think is the first dance this way, right? And then you have these other shots of the first dance, and you also have your speeches being given from the super red, dark brick wall shot. And this is a very, very different look. And that was a conscious decision by you to shoot this direction and to shoot most of the venue stuff. Yeah, so here. So you have most of this venue stuff. Like, this isn't a bad shot, but when it's back to back and you're going, or, you know, in the same setting, right, within the world of this film, of this wedding, you have this bright, white, all white walls, some windows, whatever, shots juxtaposed with this dark brick wall. It's just like a very different feel. So I think that could be something that you could be a little more intentional on. I do also think I always prefer shooting from the shadow side as far as speeches go.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's like a hack that you can go through that. A, it makes sure you don't really overexpose the subject. And B, it looks a lot nicer, more dynamic, more three-dimensional.
So I'd be on the other side here. I actually wouldn't shoot against this red wall period, but you know, is what it is. And then also, I think this framing just, I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something that just feels a little off with this framing. Like there's a lot of headroom, or you're a little too tight, or I don't know. But I also am familiar with this venue, and I know that it can be a tricky one to shoot at. So I get that. And then the last thing that I think you should, I don't know that it's a problem to fix, but something that I just feel, and maybe this is kind of going to that exposure and stuff like that, is I feel like in controlled settings, and this is true with everybody to some extent, right? But in controlled settings, you've kind of figured out your look. You have a distinct look in your detail shots, in some of your prep shots. And then you kind of lose that distinct look in some of the things where it maybe wasn't so much in your control.
I wonder if that's because he's not comfortable with light.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. And I wish he was in chat right now, because so that's just something I think that's like, it's not like I'm offering you a fix. I think it's more just an observation that I think you can probably internally
This is my fix, Bobby, and I would offer everyone this advice is you as a filmmaker can make decisions about how you want to use light, how you want to use exposures, color, and you can try to be consistent with those throughout the day. I do think even if you are in different environments, whether it be a window or a light or you're outside in full sun, that you can approach light and color in a similar way as you're shooting throughout the day.
Yep.
So that would be my advice.
But like a couple, I'm sure, love this. Crazy that they got it at that rate. So good job.
Keep on.
And a lot to like on it too. Yeah, and keep on submitting.
Bobby, why don't you tell us about what we're doing today, by the way?
Yeah, so while Jay gets the next one queued up, I will, well, first off, some comments. VZ Beats, what's up, guys? Their fee for reviewing the video. There is not. So you can submit at the link that's pinned at the top of the chat, which is just weddingfilm.school, and then it's /live review or something like that. So check that out. You can submit your film there. And that brings us to kind of a little update with a way that we're approaching this. So traditionally, we've done 3 films for you guys. We've been a lot more like in depth, I would say. Like we would do 3 films, and sometimes we'd be here 2.5, 3 hours. You guys know that. So we did switch up some things, like I mentioned earlier. Now we're only doing 5 minutes of a film, even if the film is longer. We're also kind of switching up how we talk about our review and just saying things that we like, and then kind of the most important things that I think you could improve on to take your next film to the next level. So being a little more condensed there, and what that is allowing us to do is something that we tried last week. We thought it was a great success. And so what we'll be doing, and you guys can start now, is we will be choosing at the very end of the stream, after we've reviewed our 3 predetermined films, we'll be choosing one film that was submitted by you guys in stream right now. Well, not in stream, but in our submission form by you guys who are in stream right now. And we'll be reviewing one of those at the end. So we'll be reviewing 4 films. And that 4th film, again, as a reminder, is going to be submitted by one of you live in stream right now. So if you are in the chat, if you are hearing us right now, head on over to the link that is pinned at the top. I'll also link it again. It's right there. Click that link, submit a wedding film of your choosing. That belongs to you, of course, and shoot it our way.
I'm going to submit one of your films, Bobby.
Dude, don't you dare. And we will, it'll be, in contention. We'll do just a random number generator after our 3rd film. And I will remind you guys of this because I know we have people coming in and out. I'll remind you guys at the end of each film. And I'm seeing the first frame of this, and I'm already liking this film that is yet to come.
It's pretty much garbage. So,
dude, Max, you can see our first films on YouTube. We each have a video of like, I don't know. I think mine was technically my 3rd film, but it was
mine was definitely my first film. It's the first time I ever.
It's brutal, guys. But you should watch because it's funny. We watch our film and we live react and kind of review like kind of what we do here to our own very first films from literally 15
It was not
years
good.
ago,
It was not good, Bobby.
Yeah, it was not. We just got a comment on the one of mine, and it says it's such an underhanded backhand compliment.
He makes
it's
fun
so
of
savage.
You. I saw that.
Yeah, I got it. It's like, I'm gonna read it out to you guys right now. I'm pulling it up. We got it this morning. I was like, dude, I feel attacked right now. He says, so this is my first film video, and his comment was, at least I can't feel bad for my first wedding film. Right? Savage, man.
We're nicer than that on our film.
Yeah.
I am.
He probably doesn't know that this was shot with a Canon T2i, I don't know, not even probably. This is probably before that. XHA1 or no, it was Canon HV20. I don't remember. It was old.
Yes. All right, you want to do this film?
Let's do it. And Ethan in chat saying, hey, I know that film. And that's because it is a film from one of our very own members, Ethan Calvin, Visionary Weddings, who I always look forward to reviewing. I think you do as well, Jay. This guy pushes out some amazing work, and what an awesome opportunity. This one is an elopement in Banff in the Canadian Rockies.
So not much to see.
Yeah, pretty ugly.
Bad. We'll see how we can work with the bad scenario.
Yeah. He says it was so GD pretty. And they purchased a highlight film, travel, and but it was another example based off my pre-COVID pricing, so probably booked in 2020 or something like that.
So $7.
Yeah, $7 Canadian actually. So 3,500 Canadian is what he charged, and we always like throwing that out there because we think it's helpful. But I know his prices have increased since then, and he's already prepping us, Jay. He's just letting us know it's super flat out there. There's no lakes, there's no mountains. It's really just the worst. So I guess we'll sit through this.
I just shot in Aspen last week, and it was terrible. So I can't imagine how bad this
mountains,
is.
Man, mountains are brutal. Nobody
fun.
wants to see them. They're just in the way.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Oh yeah, it's right. He does those little intros.
It is often said that love makes the world go round. However, without doubt, it is also friendship that keeps our spinning existence on an even keel. True friendship provides so many of the essentials for a happy life. It is the foundation on which we build an enduring relationship. It is friendship that nurtures our hopes, supports us through disappointment, and encourages us to grow to our best potential. It is friendship that leads you to love. And today you stand here in front of your best friend. making promises to one another and pledging not only love, but strength, warmth, and the fun of true friendship. Think of the joy and work that has gone into building this relationship. From day one, meeting at a friend's birthday, and then sliding into the DMs a few weeks later at a hockey game. With an overwhelming group first date, you would hit it off quickly and then become inseparable.
Dang, love those shots. Ugly.
Also ugly.
Josh, today marks the happiest day of my life. Since meeting you, I quickly knew I didn't want to be without you. The past 4 years have brought me more happiness, laughter, and memories into my life than I ever knew possible. You show me every single day that your heart is pure and your love is unconditional.
Alicia, my beautiful bride, from the first time you caught my eye, I knew there was a connection, and it didn't take long to figure out you are my one true love, my soulmate.
You are genuine, vulnerable, understanding, caring, nurturing, and a loving father to my Caden and our Charlie girl. And these are just a few of the reasons why you have my heart and I'm proud to make you my husband.
I vow to give you all the love and attention you deserve and to never be done falling in love with you. You have my whole heart, you are my everything, the joy of my life. I will love you forever and always.
By the power vested in me by the province of Alberta, I pronounce you husband and wife. Please kiss and make it official.
I promise to choose you every day and to love you unconditionally today, tomorrow, and all of the days that follow for the rest of our lives, even when today is a distant memory.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go on record and vote that we don't review Ethan's films anymore because it's really hard for me to come up with areas to improve.
Oh, I got some serious things.
All right.
So I got stuff, but there's a lot of good. So why don't you start, Bobby?
Yeah. So things that I loved in this one, kind of just because it was on my mind with the last film, is you have this, like, I just really like your look. I think you just kind of figure out your look. So that's always good. And I always kind of expect that. I really, really like your composition. And I'm sure that I've said that before. But I think this is important for people to look at because early on in the film, like, I know there's some walking shots to the, along the road. This is not early on in the film, but later in the film, we have some walking shots and whatever with some movement, but you have a lot of just static, well-framed, composed, well exposed shots, whether that's in the prep or some early shots of the couple and stuff like that. Some of them might have a little bit of movement, but very little. And this is like what we need to hammer down the throats of new filmmakers, is like subtle, intentional movement or no movement. Like having a well-composed, like just well-framed, like I know there's multiple shots of the bride during her prep. Like that's super subtle movement. And then it's just like, yeah, like this, it's just well composed. Like I love this frame. It's a very
this frame right here
frame.
Is so
this
dope.
One with maybe his son.
Yeah, two subjects. They're different rooms. This is both lit. Very smart.
Yeah. So stuff like that I really like. And I also think that Ethan does a really good job. And this might be, I don't know, across the board, across all his films, but I know for sure in this one, I really like the use of wide shots. yes, there are some close shots and cutaways and whatever. And yes, I mean, I understand we're in a gorgeous place, so like wide scenery shots, whatever. But we have these really wide shots, even of the couple where it's not so focused on the scenery. And it's still, there's still like emotion there. And I like that. So I think that's something that, you know, some filmmakers will kind of forget to be like, hey, let's get this like breath and just the couple and just let it be. And obviously it helps if you have a beautiful mountain behind them. But I think those are the things that really stood out to me.
So I think the biggest thing that you had mentioned, and I think it rings very true, is the composition is excellent and the storytelling used in the composition is excellent. In terms of like communicating relationships, like a good visual storyteller can tell a story and communicate it like relational information without just explicitly saying, and this is my son, we're both getting ready, or this is her son. I'm not sure of the relationship, but I do know for a fact that like it was important, and I could see that in the way it was composed. You know, I love this shot right here. It just reminds me of a movie, you know, and it's just there's a lot of this throughout the film, and I would say just keep refining that, keep using your visuals to tell stories. It seems like something you have a knack for. Why don't we talk a little bit about some areas of improvement? The first thing I would say is there's a lot of overexposed ground throughout the whole film, and I want to say this, just having shot in the mountains last week, that I know the lighting can be tricky because you have hills and trees, and you don't, a lot of times it's a weird place to shoot, especially if you're accustomed to certain times of day and whatnot. The biggest thing I will tell you is when you do a wedding like this, where you have, I don't know if it's quite destination, Bobby, but it's...
would be for me.
Yeah, it's elopement, so you have a lot of control over the shoot. It looks like you had a lot of time with the couple. When you have this much control, this is the gold that we all want. And I would say really advocate for better time of day when you're doing these portrait sessions, because I'm noticing like you're not ever getting the full scene. Something is blown out in almost every one of that portrait session. And it would be a lot nicer if the session was held at sunset, or maybe a time of day where the light was more flattering and you could see the entire scene and the couple. And maybe you have to go scout the location or whatever. But when you're doing weddings where you have this much control, try to use that to the best of your ability and maximize what you have.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we understand that sometimes that's not possible.
Yes.
Right? But if it is at all possible, and I think you probably know that too, right? You know, Ethan, but especially for other people who might not get the opportunity to do a lot of stuff like this, like when you can have that control, really, I mean, I think that's one thing even that just really separates, you know, really new filmmakers in the wedding industry to those who are, you know, have made a name for themselves and have been here long term. It's getting the best films is about shooting and editing, sure, but it's also about knowing when to take control of an environment, and not in a way that interferes with their wedding day or whatever, but you know what is best for your craft.
I would encourage one of those apps where you can see the sun, especially in the mountains. Because if it's behind the mountain, maybe you want that effect, maybe you don't, but like light is a lot trickier when you have 14,000 foot tall mountains blocking the sun.
Definitely.
So, yeah, great job. What about you? What about you, Bobby?
Yeah. Okay. So my only things, I actually had written down exposure too. I had the ceremony shots as my example, because you had some good exposure, like I think in a very similar area, and then the shots for the ceremony just look kind of blown out. Not that one.
Her skin is
I'm
a
also
little
curious
since
since you're in chat, is did you mic up the bride? I couldn't quite see a mic, but it might be hidden. But I'm curious because I feel like your vows were really clean. I personally would have liked, no, it's later. It's when they're like actually that, like those shots there. Yeah. So I would have loved like I think you had the couple in the environment a lot, and you had some shots of the environment. I think, like, me personally, and this is just an opinion for sure, is I could have been down for some more setting of the environment, like.
Yeah.
The
I wonder why there was no drone. Was that a rule that you couldn't do
Banff
drone?
is national. Well, it's Canadian, so the rules might be different. I don't know. But yeah. And then I loved your ending shot. I forgot to say that. And then something that Max said, I believe, in chat, and I also I notice it, but I hesitate to say anything on it because I'm getting like a low quality stream through Zoom sometimes. Is that the skin tone sometimes looked a little oversaturated,
Yes,
but I could be wrong on that. So
that's why I meant her skin looks super spray tanny. And I will say this, a lot of women get spray tan for their weddings. And when you notice that, it's not going to hold light the exact same way as more natural skin. So you got to be careful with the saturation when you're working with spray tan.
Yeah. Ethan's saying that drones are banned, which I assume because I know this is like the other side of
because it's
Glacier National
Canada.
Park, so yeah, well, it's a national park, so
they're like
they're not banned in all of Canada, just national parks in Canada, just like in the U.S. So
yes,
I hear you on that, which is a bummer because wouldn't that just be a gorgeous shot?
Yes, it would.
All right, so as we wrap that up,
why don't we talk about our? We have a little bit of a podcast, right, Bobby?
We do have a podcast. That's true. That's what I've heard. At least I've heard. Honestly, people told me, lots of people, so many people, best wedding filmmaking podcast known to mankind.
Known to man. So definitely check it out. If you've never listened to the Wedding Film School show, we upload every 2 weeks. We have cool guests. Not as much lately, but we're gonna be back to the guests in the next 2 weeks, actually. And we talk about wedding filmmaking, everything that goes into running your business, being creative, and just. We try to go a little deeper, Bobby, than just like how to hold your camera. It's really more about the philosophy of wedding filmmaking and also the finances, the business side. So definitely check it out, the Wedding Film School show, wherever podcasts are found.
Yes, as well as on our kind of sister channel, our alternate channel, which is the Wedding Film School show. So if you want to see our lovely faces as we talk, through the podcast, you can watch it on YouTube over at the Wedding Film School show channel, and then the audio versions, of course, available on podcasts, Spotify, the normal places. So as we queue up our third film, I'm going to give you guys another reminder. If you are in chat right now, we are queuing up our third film, but we have a bonus fourth slot for a film review, and we are saving that. It will only be available to people who are live with us right now in chat. So if you are live, if you are listening and watching right now as we're streaming, you can go to the link pinned at the top of the chat, or I'll post it right there. And you can submit us a film to review so you get a much better chance at getting your film reviewed. So submit it there. Please fill it out completely because we do need things like the link to the film and what music you licensed and things like that. And we'll be pulling a random film that was submitted during the first portion of this live stream to review at the end of the live stream.
I
So
will say,
go ahead on over
I was
there.
going to throw this in there, Bobby.
Yeah.
If you are able to make it downloadable, that is really helpful. Way better if you can make it downloadable for us, so we don't have
I guess
to...
that's the deal.
Yeah.
Sorry, Max, it's just anybody who submitted today, basically. So you would still be in that random draw or whatever. Because our submissions are sorted by date, not by minute. So
Bobby, you want me to tell you about this film?
I would love to know more about this film.
It's a great film.
It's snowy. I can see that.
I like snow. I
don't, but
I love it. I love snow, actually. So this is Brock Michael Films. He was two Sony FX3s and a Sony A7S IV solo shooter. I was rusty since I haven't filmed a wedding in about 6 months. I like the variety of the locations. I don't use ND filters on this wedding. I just cranked that shutter. I got up to 1/2500 during the brightest part of the day. That ended up making my slow motion footage look really bad, in my opinion. I really don't like the speeches. I just added them to make the couple happy. Glowing review, Bobby. But we've all had these wedding days.
All
so
right.
I like having films like this. And again, Brock Jonas is one of our members. So thank you so much, Brock. We are excited to watch your film. You ready, Bobby?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Hopefully the audio is working.
The most remarkable moment in life is when you meet the person who makes you feel complete. The person who makes the world a beautiful and magical place. The person with whom you share a bond so special that it transcends normal relationships and becomes something so pure and so wonderful that you can't imagine spending another day of your life without them.
Let me just secure one of the
I'd take the long way home if it meant I'd go walking by your door. Together we could see where the road will lead.
Marriage is to belong to each other through a unique and diverse collaboration, like two separate threads crossing in different directions, yet weaving one elaborate tapestry together.
It goes on your tie, so you will, it's just a sticky, so I can help you. Is it funny? Your little mustache.
The secret of love and marriage is to be in love and in trust, to know in your hearts that you want only the best for each other. It takes dedication, so stay open to one another, to learn and grow, even when it is difficult to do so. A successful marriage is not something that just happens. It takes work, it takes patience, and it takes time. Spencer, please place the ring on Danielle's left hand and repeat after me. With this ring.
With this ring.
I give you my promise.
That light looks great.
To honor you.
To honor you.
To be faithful to you.
To be faithful to you.
And share my love.
And share my love.
And life with you.
And life with you.
In all ways.
In all ways.
Forever.
Forever.
And Danielle, please place the ring on Spencer's left hand and repeat after me. With this ring.
With this ring.
I give you my promise.
I give you my promise.
To honor you.
To honor you.
To be faithful to you.
To be faithful to you.
And to share my love.
And to share my love.
And life with you.
And life with you.
In all ways.
In all ways.
Forever.
Forever.
Daniel and Spencer, this empty vessel between you represents your marriage. It is a new beginning in your relationship with each other. Danielle, as you pour your yellow water into the container, you bring sunshine and wisdom to your marriage. And Spencer, as you pour your blue water into the marriage vessel, you bring confidence, trust, and loyalty to your marriage.
I mean,
the blending of the yellow and blue creates green, representing the blending of your lives together as one.
What?
May you see many sunrises, listen to the rain, savor special moments, and rediscover each other over and over. May you have health, happiness, and a lifetime of rich adventure. By the power of your love and commitment to each other, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Spencer, you may kiss your bride.
And welcome to the historic Rainbow Field. And welcome to a little girl's dream.
We are so thankful to have such a caring man as Lincoln's father and now part of our family. We are so happy with our grandson. Now keep practicing for a granddaughter.
Both of you, intelligent, you both are strong. I couldn't be more proud to be your father.
I got this feeling rising through the ceiling, singing, ooh, darling, you got me feeling alright. Let me show you I was meant to hold you. So lose your shoes and dance with me, dance with me. I got this feeling rising through the ceiling, singing, ooh, darling, you got me feeling alright. Let me show you I was meant to hold you. So lose your shoes and dance with me.
Dang, those lights are nowhere. I'm leaning to it.
So
sweet.
So I think there's a lot of good stuff. I feel like definitely I can see that rust, Bobby. So I have some good feedback I can offer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Why don't you start? What did you like about the film, Bobby?
I think you had some good shots of the couple. Like, I think there are shots where, we might get into the technical details as far as like exposure or something like that, or camera movement. But like you're getting some good interaction out of the couple. I think that's a good way to put it. And, that's not always possible or not always easy. I also think that the use of the venue, and like these ceremony shots look really nice. And
great.
I don't know exactly what this is, but like the train, obviously,
like between two trains
is the
or
big
something.
part of it. Yeah, like super cool venue. And so then kind of incorporating trains and like showing off the venue is always cool. And I think you did a good job. The ceremony shots I had written down as really nice looking. And then I think you the planned dance stuff. So that would be like first dance. It looked like parent dances. There was maybe like 3 shots total towards the end. Your lighting for that, I thought, looked really nice. And I think that's like, can be stressful. And, I don't know exactly what your setup was like or how often you bring, lights and stuff like that. So I think that, I think that looked really good. And I liked, the look of your setup dance stuff.
So the last thing I want to do is gloss over the things I think can make you better. Because I do want to get to those, but I did want to say there's a lot of, you just did the job right. And I know that seems like a minimal, like, when I'm watching someone's wedding films, I'm like, how would I react if this came back into my studio? And I think a lot of the things in the film are acceptable to good. I didn't see a lot of terrible things. I think the editing is my biggest issue with this film, and I think the way it was shot is pretty solid. And there's a couple of things I can give you in terms of shooting, but I think overall you know what you're doing with the camera, and I think the couple's probably like, wow, like this seems like a small thing, right, Bobby? But like when I say like you did the job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you covered the event, and you showed everything, and everything was covered well. There was no major mistakes.
Yep.
Everything looked pretty good. There was nothing in there that I was like, that's terrible looking.
This could be a great example too of like, I feel like sometimes we talk about this of like, sometimes you have to ride that line of like, are you making films for your couple or are you making films for the industry?
Totally.
Right?
Exactly.
Like this is a great example of like, okay, maybe there's nothing that like blows us away visually or something like that, but like it's a solid film and your couple's gonna love it. And like if this is what they wanted and you delivered that, you know.
Yes.
In fact, you mentioned that specifically in that like you didn't really love a lot of the speeches that you had to work with, but you knew they wanted it. So
Yep.
you hunker down and you say, hey, this is maybe not a film that like I'm gonna send out to the masses and put it on my front page if it's not what you want to do. And if it is what you want to do, then do that. But you know, they loved it, and yeah.
So Bobby, where are some areas of improvement that you saw?
Yeah, so a couple quick, like easy ones. I didn't love your opening shot. I would have started with something else. I think you can use that shot. I just wouldn't have started with it. I think you have some movement things that I think you could like either slow down or be more intentional with your movement. We talked about that in the last film, something that Ethan does really well. Some exposure stuff, like I think the biggest two things I would say are a lot of the stuff in Lambeau Field. You have kind of these silhouette shots in the tunnel where you didn't really commit to the silhouette. They're still slightly exposed, right? You can still see some detail in them. They're not just a silhouette or a shadow. And the whole field is blown out, and it's like pick one or the other. Like either just commit to blowing that field out and at least we can see the couple, or probably my preference for those shots would have been full on silhouette that couple and just blow out that field. Stop down to F16, crank your shutter to 4,000. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? So being more intentional with that. And then I guess what I'm going to say is taking control. And we talked about this in the last film as well. And I think that's why it's on my mind. I think I can tell, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of this was you kind of just following whatever's happening. And I think that is good for that is not a bad thing. We want to respect that it's their day. It's not, a Hollywood production. It's not a film set. It's not your day. But with that said, there are ways that we can kind of insert our opinion and take a little more control and ask for what we need. And I think you could have gotten some better stuff like, where are they set up for speeches? Where are they set up for getting ready? Are you using nice window light? Are they bumping around between window light and then I know the groom was at a mirror in not so great light, or the exchange of the tie thing. I don't even know what it was, sticker or clip or whatever it was with the dad. I thought that lasted too long in the film. It should have maybe just been visual, but where are they? This is there's a light switch or an outlet right behind them. Just being inserting yourself, saying hey, even if it's just so simple as, oh, love that you're gonna give your dad this. Hey, let's bring you over by this window. It'll look nice. You're the pro. And so do that stuff. Cause I think that's a quick increase to the visuals of your film.
This is, I want to be kind because I think I can see the effort that went into this film, but there's a lot of things in here that a little bit made me a little cringe because right here, I want to show this ambient. I'm going to play with the audio too, Bobby.
Spending another day of your life
right
without
here. So first, that audio transition right there between two songs in totally different keys, very jarring. I don't even know why you put a song in for 20 seconds and then switch songs. What is the purpose of that?
I had that written down too.
And then, the fact that the transition happens over ambient audio, that's very loud. I think this ambient audio for this entire sequence. I don't understand why this shot is played so long when it looks not very good. The audio, she's just getting sprayed. There's a lot of things about this. It's why is this in the film? Why did you show ambient audio here? Why is it so loud? Why did you switch songs? This sequence right here, I was what is going on? And then even the tape, the tie sticker, is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is.
Was just so this is where I would have cut it.
weaving one elaborate tapestry together.
It goes on your tie, so you will.
I would have just been like, oh, show him putting it on.
I would have shown his reaction.
Yep.
Maybe not the audio, because I think the audio is low quality and it distracts you. And then I would have punched in close. You have a shot of what it is. Like this 30-second exchange would have been a 5-second, mostly probably purely visual.
Yeah, I liked his reaction. That was fine as ambient, but I wouldn't have her being like, "Hey, Dad." Like, it kind of makes him look stupid, and I don't really want anyone in our films to look dumb. And then you're going back and forth between like really good audio and then this, and then while we're on the audio kind of thing, like I don't understand what's going on the audio in this sequence, Bobby, because, and you can let us know if you're in chat, but it seems like we had ambient audio, not something directly from the board, or even recording of the speaker. It's just like on camera audio, maybe. Like, I don't know.
And welcome to a little girl's dream.
We are so
You can't
thankful to have
like, you literally can't understand a thing that they're saying.
I heard make grandbabies or something.
Yeah. The mom sex jokes are classic when it comes to weddings. And then I think all the stuff Bobby said, but I felt like the whole film like was in slow motion. The pacing was just so plodding. Like, we're getting to this dance footage, and I was wanting it to like pick up a little.
Yeah. You never know though, like what they have. Maybe they were only there for 5 minutes of dancing.
I mean, but you have control over that, Bobby.
That's true. Well, yeah. I mean, depends. Yeah.
You can shoot enough dance footage to cut it the way you want to cut it. There's no
it seems
reason.
like they have a decent amount, actually.
I always shoot at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just
but
so
yeah,
I can
don't know.
have it.
I agree with you where it's just like the pacing. I think part of that has to do with the fact that like there was a lot of like ceremony. Like visually it was cool and we liked it, but there's like a lot of audio from the ceremony. And so I think this is a great example of something where we would say like, hey, you gave, you sold them whatever you sold them, and we understand that, but this would be a much better film if it was.
The last thing I was going to say, Bobby, is I felt like the film lacked context. Like, for instance, I didn't realize until the end of the film that this shot here, Bobby, was this.
Wait, is it? Are you
I
sure?
think it is. I think it's the same. I mean, this is me
I don't
guessing.
think it's the red. Oh, it could be that black one, maybe.
I think it is, but there was no like gimbal push in showing the wide shot of the ceremony. Like, throughout the film, we lacked context. We had no Lambo film sign. Like, there was no real like
the scene setting or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lack of intentionality when it comes to positioning the viewer in the film. And I think
I will say it being winter probably doesn't. I mean, I've shot in winter. I think you got to just suck it up and go. This is a Midwest winter. They're in Wisconsin.
Shoot this shot, but back it up 50 feet.
Yeah.
Show me how it all looks. Show me the people at the wedding. Show me the way the seats. I think just these are all easy things you can do that will really level up your film, which is just consistent way you're using ambient audio, consistently covering every single time there's a speech with audio with a similar approach, so it all sounds the same in the film. And then when you're cutting it, like not holding things too long, and then of course showing context and giving us a sense of place in the film. That's my feedback.
Love it.
And then can we just, as an aside, not as about the film because it has nothing to do with the filmmaker, but the pee water.
I don't know. I've never seen that all my years.
That's so funny. Anyway, Bobby, why don't we kind of get people going on our just on the fly film review?
Dude, I just pulled it. You guys can look here. Well, you can't make my screen. We had 5 or 6 Wait, 258 to 262. I don't know. 6 submissions during stream. I random number generated 258 to 262. I can't show you my screen, but I promise you it picked number 259.
Slack me over, Bobby.
which I'm going to send over to Jay right now. And that is our good friend in chat right now, Max Smith.
I love Max. What a great guy. What a great
guy. For that, I'm going to send it over to Jason. Give me 1 second. It's a YouTube link. So you guys are in for a treat. This is a fun film.
He said. Way to toot your own horn, bro.
Is that what he said in chat?
Beautiful wedding in Traverse. Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Here, while you get that set, yeah, that just makes us. We're gonna brutalize this film. Okay, so while you get that set up, I'll talk through what he told us. So this again is from Max Smith at Kenneth Kevin Media. Filmed on an A7S III, an older film from last year, and it has a cool story. The couple said no to us initially after our first Zoom call, due to budget. But they had been trying to build a portfolio at the time. This was early on, I guess, and offered an engagement video for free. After we were done with the shoot for the engagement video that night, they asked us if their date was still open on our calendar since they changed their minds after getting to work with us a bit. Ended up being one of our favorite couples to work with. You'll see their engagement film is spliced into the final film. I loved everything about this one except for his tone reading his vows. He naturally mumbles a little bit as he talks, so it was a bit hard to work with him.
That is always a tough thing.
Good,
Bobby.
Yeah, I mean that's just I don't know. What can you do? You know,
it is what it is.
And this was the middle package, 8 hours of coverage with a teaser, a 5 to 6 minute highlight, and a ceremony edit, and then that free engagement shoot. And did we review a Max Smith film
2 weeks
ago? Was that one in Detroit, a Max Smith film?
I don't remember.
I think it was Detroit. There was like some black and white spliced.
It was
in.
Detroit because it had like a Red Wings
Dude.
theme or something.
Yeah. All right.
Want to do it?
That film was awful. So
stinks.
Just kidding.
More.
Yes.
As we always say, more crap from Max.
Yeah. It's the slogan of this live stream.
Beautiful.
Antonio James St. John. You never realize how hard it is to put into words how you feel about someone until you're asked to do so. It would be nearly impossible to fit all of that I want and need to say in this short period of time. And how could I possibly summarize 10 years of memories, growth, and love onto this one sheet of paper? In the struggle to find the words, the most defining moment was when I realized it would take a lifetime for me to list all the things that I love you for, and easier for me to simply say that I know that you're the one for me. Because I cannot imagine my life without you by my side.
That's nice.
We walked about.
I love that shot. I love that shot.
That's the way to do it.
I love that freaking room.
Dear Colleen Elizabeth, 3,962 days ago, I walked out of algebra class with you and asked you to be my girlfriend. Since that day, there was never a doubt that you were the one.
And all the lights dancing on your skin.
I thank God for giving me those early years with you to build the greatest love and friendship I could ever ask for in this life. Your love and smile radiates, and your intelligence is second to none. You never fail to find the best in people.
Do it again. I forgot.
In you I found all that I need in a husband and then some. I found a man that firmly plants his feet in the ground next to me no matter what adventure or challenge that I take on, and a man that's ready to do whatever it takes to conquer absolutely anything. You are everything good in this life. There's no question that you are the better half of me.
And all the lights dancing on your skin. And all I've done to hold you.
AJ, you've shown me unconditional love like I've never known. Most days I question what I did to deserve you, but I'm so glad that you see in me what I can't always see myself.
That's a sweet shot.
I promise to continue this journey with God in the center of our relationship and to one day raise our kids with the same beliefs we have. I hope to take in every moment of this special day with you and our amazing families and close friends. I love you, Colin Elizabeth.
Today is the day we've always hoped would come, the day that we've prayed for. Today marks an official lifetime ahead of us, that I'll be blessed enough to continuously remind you of all of the things that I treasure, adore, and love about you. I cannot wait for you to become my husband.
Awesome final shot.
Kiss me
Oh, it's not the final shot. Oh my gosh.
Kiss me with the lights down now.
All right, let's do this. So, I'll start. First and foremost, Max knows what he's doing with the camera and of his wife, of course. And they know what they're doing. And so great as always. And really, really, I mean, the biggest thing I like about his films, Bobby, is honestly the skin tones. Like,
looks nice. Those
beautiful.
tones.
Like, nice. You know,
To quote 87 and Smith, Kyle, those tones are delicious.
Yes. Good
I would
skin
agree.
tones.
I like it.
All that junk. In terms of other things, I think there's a lot of creative shots throughout the film. You know, something as simple as like this shot is kind of a throwaway shot, but then when you put it in the film, like, you know, it's just like, it's interesting. You brought interest. You found things that make the film more high end and more interesting than even it really is. Because you're using everything in your environment as inspiration and not just the couple or what they're doing. So I think it's great.
Yep. Yeah, things that I loved about this film, you get such great interaction out of your couple. And both in the way that you capture it and the way that you know, either prompt them or whatever, like the way they interact and the way that your camera captures that kind of adds to that raw emotion. I think we've said that before. I love your subtle movement throughout the film. This is a great example of what, like, hey, they can have movement, but it's not, you're not running around on a gimbal nonstop. You, I think, have a couple gimbal push-ins or something like that. Obviously just some drone movement and stuff like that, but really intentional movement. And then the number one thing that I loved is and I think it's just like this film specifically, and probably in relation to, you know, this being the last film of the stream and some things that we brought up with some other films, is you let the setting exist in your film. You literally cut to no music, I believe, unless it just cut out for me. And you build up where we are. And this comes after kind of this engagement intro. with the shots of like the horse and the field and the tree. Maybe it was before this. I can't really remember, but wherever it was,
It's
like,
like how they introduced the wedding day.
yeah, like it's just like it's a great transition. And it's like works great as a transition, but it just works so well just in and of itself, in my opinion. It's just like you reset, and you're just, as the filmmaker, you're just like, wow, like you sit on the shot for like 5 whole seconds or something, you're just like, man, it's just like a breath of fresh air. You're letting these shots breathe, you're letting us know like here we are, it's the calm before the storm, and like
It's also a clever way to show the passage of
that.
time.
Yep.
Because I will say I did miss kind of what was going on the first time I watched it. And then now I'm contextualizing it, and I was like, oh, that's, so I liked that in terms of storytelling, how they did that.
Yeah.
So I think as good as this film is, Bobby, it could have been, in my opinion, a lot better. And
dude,
I think
you in Minnesota right now?
Yeah.
Sorry,
He
keep
is.
going.
I don't know if he is. But I when I was watching the film, I think you're right that his vows really, really hold it back. And I was like, how could they have, because they can't not include it, right, Bobby?
I mean, with this, the way it's set up, no.
You have to include it. And so I think what I would have helped a lot is, first of all, showing the groom more when he's doing those readings. Because it was like, who's talking? I didn't even know the character when I was watching the film. And given wedding films are weird because they're really for an audience of like very small people, and they all know. You know, so, but as an outsider, I'm watching the film and I'm like, who's talking? And I'm assuming it's the groom. But it would have grounded me more, and it also would have softened the blow of like this monotone person talking. Then I also think something about the way that the engagement shoot, it didn't land as much as I wanted it to land, and I can't figure out why. Like the first time I watched the film, I had a hard time. I think it would have been nicer to me if you would have used that engagement shoot in less of a linear way, and maybe use.
I actually have that written down as well.
Shoots like. What's tough is, Bobby, is like they used it that way, where it was at the beginning of the film and then there was a little break and then they kind of used that pause, which we really liked. So I have mixed feelings on that, because I know that it allowed them to do a cool trick, which is like kill that audio and transition that time. But as I was watching the film, I was thinking like, didn't he say there's an engagement shoot? And I kind of even forgot about the beginning as the film was going through. And I felt like it would have made it better.
Yeah, keep going.
And but I mean, when I say it could have been better too, and this shot's overexposed. A couple of them were a little overexposed. But when I say it could have been better, I just get a sense that it could be better based on the content. And I think it's an editing thing. I think like if we would have found a way to integrate that vows in a more organic way that didn't highlight the negative side. And I think if we could have integrated more of that really beautiful engagement session throughout the film, I think it would have kept the pace going and made me feel better.
So I have the same thing written down. I really like the like intro engagement as a standalone kind of piece. I like the cut to the passage of time. I already mentioned that. And then I felt it was weird though that we start seeing some of those engagement shots again at the very end. And I know that's kind of a like, oh, we're coming full circle, but I agree that I would have liked to continue to see some engagement shots throughout. Like it felt like this very like it's here, and it's not like part of their story almost. And I think it could have been spliced in here and there throughout the film. I don't have like specific areas, but I would have liked to have seen it a little more throughout the film, because we see it for the first 30 seconds or whatever, and then we see it in like the last minute or 40 seconds. We see a couple shots.
I forgot something that I really wanted to say, Bobby, too. So when you're done, I'm going to throw it in there.
Oh, I'll keep going. Okay. the audio, like Jay mentioned and you mentioned from the beginning, I actually kind of wonder, like, the mumbling is a thing for sure, but it's almost, to me, it's a pace thing. Like, it's so slow and drawn out, and I don't know that you have an answer. Like, you could maybe try, like, hey, what if I made it 110% speed? Would I lose it? Would it still sound normal? I don't know.
If you
What if
saw
I cut
his
out every
face, it would
gap?
help.
Yeah, like maybe, yeah. I think it like puts it in context. So I think that maybe could help. But I know what you're saying, and maybe there's no answer. But I think because it was, I wouldn't even say mumbly. I would say because the pacing on his talking was so slow.
He sounds very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and so he said he tried speeding him up, it didn't help. So yeah, I think that's like the thing where it's like, and I think the answer, what we're finding here, is maybe there's not really an answer, and it just is what it is. But yeah, I think that kind of like paced the film for me and made it a little slow at points. And then some of the sound effect stuff, like here specifically, I think, Jay, is where I heard it.
That was what I was gonna give.
Oh,
us
really?
feedback.
So like the horse steps don't line up with the horse stepping. It's also stepping on like dirt or sand in the sound effects, and here it's on grass. So some of that stuff, like this little 10-second.
Can I play my favorite sound effect, Bobby? Here it is.
Let's do it.
The horse eating.
Yeah, so I think for me, like, I like you. I like you. I like that you are like pushing that, trying that, because I think that, you know, what we talk in some other stuff is like that's a sign of like even better filmmaking, right? I don't think the sound effects hit for me in this. Maybe they were too loud, maybe they just didn't line up, whatever. But I think
for me, it's all about the proximity of the camera to the subject being like ringing true. Like when I watched that horse munching, you were really far away, and I don't believe like you would hear it that loud when your camera is that far away, or when a human ear is that far away. So I think, like, to me, like, your sound effects, they should be subtle, but more than anything, they should convey proximity. Like, that's really good sound design, is like if you hear footsteps and, you know, whether it be, I mean, when you're getting really advanced, it's like, what is the reflectivity of the space you're in terms of creating echoes and
that means nothing
all that junk. Like, are the walls hard or are they mushy? Are you inside or are you outside? Yeah. How close are you to the mouth of that horse? Because the way it sounds in the video is like you're right at the horse's mouth, filming it eating. Yeah. And I think just kind of being cognizant of that as you use sound effects and sound design, as we say in the wedding film world, which is funny because it's like, it's sound design. It's like, what did you do? Oh, I put effect in. I put a sound, any kind of extra sound. And that's, but when you're doing it, just being careful to, you're kind of moving into an entire new world, and everything has to ring true when you're adding that stuff in. Unless you're talking about like bass drops or sound effects that aren't supposed to be whatever. Connected
where it's
with
not
anything visual.
What you're seeing. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'd say.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for submitting, Max, and glad you won the random live review at the end of the stream. Jay, we're going to be back next week too.
And it'll be working even better. Even better. Yeah. I apologize, Bobby. I thought I had it all figured out. And then
with that said, we did get a comment from Kyle that was like, pumped to see that the stream is even better quality this week. So even with our mistakes, we brought it up a notch. So.
Yes. We want it to be like a good time. That's kind of it. And like in the future, the more we get this stuff down, I feel like the more we're going to be able to connect with each other in our hanging out and talking, but also connect with the audience. And you know, I wanted to bring one thing up to you, Bobby. I was shooting a wedding, like I said, in Aspen last week, and I posted it in our Facebook group, which you should join, Wedding Film School on Facebook. Join the group, get connected, get plugged in. There's a lot of announcements and community there. But I was shooting with the Sony a7S III and the new G Master 50mm 1.2, Bobby. Oh my! I want it. It's so tasty. I I couldn't believe how
I'm
good it
so
was.
back and forth where I'm just like, I don't like. I have the 55 and I love it. And I'm like, oh,
The Zeiss?
I need that. Yeah.
It's so much better than
But-
the Zeiss. It's not even close.
Why would you say that to me?
I also used your.
Now what am I supposed to do?
24 to 70 on our gimbal. Love that. Really.
Okay. Interesting.
We had a lot of fun. Whenever we do like destination, Bobby, we just rent everything and then we pick it up in the location because traveling with that crap is so irritating. It probably costs us like $400 more, but I think it's worth it for the lack of stress.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys have a great week. Wedding Film School show. We got a new episode dropping next week. So definitely be there for that. And yeah, we love having you guys. Be sure to hit like, subscribe.
On your way out.
And go check out the Wedding Film School show channel. And we love the support. It means a lot to us. And if you want priority reviews, then go ahead, sign up. Or no, click on the join button. Is it, Bobby?
Yep.
Click
Right
the
next
join
to
button,
subscribe.
become a member here at Wedding Film School. In the next probably 4 weeks, we're going to be doing a special Wedding Film School members hangout. We want to start actually doing some education that's just for members. So definitely click on that because there's more to come with that membership program as well, Bobby. Anything you want to say before we go?
That's it. Excited for next week. Thanks everybody for being here and submitting your films. Continue to submit your films. Everything submitted from today onwards until next week will be fair game for next week's show. So even if you did not get your film reviewed, and if you submitted it, this past week, then just submit it again. It's easiest for us. So, and we will see you guys next week.
Have a great week, everybody.